Hello friends, welcome to the video. Today we are going to be reading a bunch of 2023 released graphic novels and comics. These books are specifically in the visual reading medium, so graphic novels and manga, something along the lines of this. I'm sure you're familiar with this if you're here. The reason I got this idea for this video was because of Goodreads and their Goodreads Choice Awards for 2023 removing a ton of categories. Reading is political, whether you want to believe it or not. It is. It's not a great look as a major book company to be cutting out all genres relating to the arts, relating to children and education. It's not a good look in my opinion. And I don't think it's fair. Graphic novels take a lot to publish. I know, shocking. It takes art, it takes storyboarding, and it takes heavy papers and materials to get a book like this out. This is a lot more printing weight than a general novel. There's colored ink, which is very heavy and very expensive. The paper needs to be thicker and glossy. The binding is different. Everything is different about a graphic novel. So with that said, I think it's important that we talk about the graphic novels that were published in 2023 because there are some amazing options. There are authors and illustrators who worked really hard on these and are not going to get the attention that they deserve because Goodreads made a dumb choice. So let's stick it to the man. MJ Reads and I are reading a bunch of graphic novels and talking about them, giving you some recommendations, and would like to make a call to action for you to talk about the graphic novels that were published in 2023 that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy to help other readers find these books. They are just as valuable and valid as any other genre. And I think it's particularly a slap to the face by Goodreads because graphic novels, in my experience, are one of the genres that are the most progressive in terms of diversity, queer representation, and queer education for teenagers. It just feels really icky that they've removed a genre that is making so much progressive movement in books, in the book community. So yeah, let's read some books. We have quite a few here on the list, so let's get started.
One day I feel alright. The next I'm looking for the light, for the light, for the light.
Okay, siblings, I finished Golden Rage. Wow. 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 I downloaded this book off of Libby because I had seen it and I saw that it was published in 2023, and this cover gave me troubled teen, maybe police brutality, maybe some conversations about racism. You know the type of books that I'm talking about. That was not what this was. Very quickly, just a few pages in, I realized this is a Golden Girls retelling. Yes, The Golden Girls. The show about old women insulting each other and having hilarious interactions, adapted into a social commentary dystopian about women being exiled to this island where they battle royale kill each other when they are no longer fertile and cannot have children. This was a wild ride, my friends. One, I didn't know what this was about going into it, so my expectations were completely wrong. And two, it couldn't have been a better pick for myself. If you don't know this already, I grew up as a little kid watching the Golden Girls. I was one of those weird kids at school who was obsessed with the Golden Girls. I used to watch them every day. Every day I would watch an episode of the Golden Girls, and when I finished a season, I started the next one. When I finished the show, I started it right back over the next day. All through my college education, I was watching the Golden Girls. I had it downloaded and purchased on my laptop. I could not have picked a better book on accident, truly. I was so surprised reading this. If I had known this was about the Golden Girls before it had come out, I would have pre-ordered it and purchased a physical copy. Will I be purchasing a physical copy? Absolutely. You can bet your toadstools I will be purchasing a physical copy of this book with my Barnes & Noble gift cards that I got for Christmas, because if I had known, I would have picked this up intentionally before this video. I'm so glad that I just randomly saw this on Libby, saw its publication date, and said, sure, why not? Also, I read this in the middle of the night. I've been having insomnia, so I've been laying in bed at night and I pull up Libby on my phone instead of scrolling social media and reading random graphic novels on my phone. I'm so glad that I've been doing that because I found some interesting books. Check out my December wrap up if you're interested in some weird books that I came across. But more than anything, I dug up some gold in Libby. I'm so surprised. So here's my final rating for this book. It was amazing. It was really good. It surprised me. There was no way I would have known that this was about the Golden Girls, and I'm so pleasantly surprised. If you like the Golden Girls and you're okay and comfortable with some violence, dystopian style, battle royale, check this out because it was fascinating. This reminded me of when I read Paper Girls. It's got that dystopian feminist social commentary with intense violence and action. I would put this in like the shonen social commentary category of graphic novels if I was going to be a weird anime weeb about it. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this book if you can handle the content warnings. And I will update you again when I have read another 2023 graphic novel. I have a very massive stack sitting next to my desk that I just pick up one a day. Okay, so I finished Twistwood Tales and this was super cute. I actually already recorded an entire like 3 or 4 minutes of me talking about this book in great detail when I first finished it, and I cannot find the footage anywhere. So forgive me for that. It has been about a month since I read that book. It was the first book for this series that I read, so it's been a minute. This is essentially a collection of short stories, I guess, and there's like only one page that has like 4 or 5, maybe 6 panels on a single page, sometimes a front and back page that are short stories, and they're usually puns or jokes or twists on common tales. I thought it was super funny. There's a plague doctor. It's kind of that like quirky, dark humor. There was some like really dark tones to it. I would say it gave me a lot of Over the Garden Wall vibes, but without the eeriness of Over the Garden Wall. I personally thought that that show was like really eerie and uncomfortable to watch, while Twistwood Tales is more cozy and funny and like tongue-in-cheek. Here's my final rating. I super duper enjoyed it, but apparently I was feeling quite critical and gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good. I just would say that you don't need to go out and find a book to read this, and the tales are kind of like complete on their own, but also just kind of okay. I didn't personally find it to be the best thing that's ever happened to me, but I did really enjoy it, and I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. If you're interested in the Twistwood Tales, just head on over to their Instagram. I linked it down below, and you can also find it on Webtoons if you don't have Instagram. All right, and that's it for Twistwood Tales. Let's move on to the next book. We're gonna start with The Princess and the Grilled Cheese today. I'll update you once I have finished this out, or I've gotten to halfway. We'll see how I feel about the pacing of the story. Let's go. Okay, siblings, sorry I'm not looking my girly pop best, but it's the middle of the night after a very long work day. I finished The Princess and the Grilled Cheese sandwich last night, and this was so cute. I don't have words. This book was definitely giving The Prince and the Dressmaker 100%. If you liked that book, you will love this book. This was such a fun read. It was easy. I have one minor complaint, which is that the timeline is kind of confusing. There seems to be technology like a Nintendo Switch within this book, like someone's playing a Nintendo Switch, but at the same time they still ride in carriages and have traditional kind of Renaissance-y balls, and their laws are very not progressive. So that was really confusing to me. Their dress, everything was very Victorian times, but they had a Nintendo Switch. I don't know what that was about. I guess maybe I'm taking it too seriously. Because this book obviously doesn't take itself super seriously. The art style is absolutely hilarious. There will be these scenes where the faces turn into chibi anime faces when normally the art looks like this. So you can see the difference here to show reactions. And I absolutely loved that. My husband even looked over my shoulder while I was reading and he was like, what is that face? Oh, I think it was this page. Yeah, anyway, loved it. One of the things that I loved the most about it, which I think will get some mixed opinions down the line, everything was named after cheese and everyone loved cheese in this world. I mean, characters were named after cheese. Their last names were named after cheese. Their pets were named after cheese. Their fashion styles, like they had like brands like Versace and stuff, they twisted those words to be cheese words to make them punny. I thought it was hilarious. And the very end had me smiling ear to ear, big cheesy grin. I couldn't help it. It was so funny. I loved this. Queer representation, it's there, it's beautiful. We have a woman dressing as a man, and we have two women falling in love, and their wedding, and it's just beautiful. And if you read the very back with the author's story where she got this inspiration, stop. So cute. Here's my final rating for this book. You want to see my book stack for this video? This stack right here. I believe most of these, other than Check Please and maybe one other, are 2023 published graphic novels. I know. I look like I was off my rocker when I checked all of those out from the library on the same day. You should have seen me carrying those out. They had to give me an extra bag because mine wasn't big enough. Anyways, so glad I read this and I can't wait for the next book. Okay, friends, I finished Batcat by Maggie Ram and this was so stinking cute. Okay, I adored this book more than I thought I would. It's very short. The cover is giving like non-serious. I just thought this would be just like a fun, quirky little read, and it was a fun, quirky little read, but I enjoyed it way more than I expected to. This book would be excellent for anyone with biracial identity or biracial children, because it deals a lot with Batcat being half cat, half bat, and not really knowing where to fit in and what it means to be half of things, if you get my drift. I like the commentary, I like the representation. It's a fun little fantasy adventure, and it's not too serious, but it does have that overarching message of being mixed, and I think that's a brilliant thing to talk about in a children's graphic novel. It was excellent. I didn't realize this was published in 2023. I wish I had. There's apparently a second book coming out, so I will pick that one up once it comes out. Would highly recommend. I don't really have much to say about this, so here's my final rating, the content warnings, and all I can do is say I would really recommend it if you like graphic novels or if you're mixed race. It's a very quick little read and it feels pretty thorough. It doesn't feel quick. It feels like you get your money's worth of time, and the illustrations are really adorable. Also, there's a little ghost, so what else is there to love? So yeah, let's move on to the last book for this video, which is Basil and Oregano. Hello siblings. So I have now finished another graphic novel, and that is Basil and Oregano by Melissa Capriglione. I am so sorry if I butchered that, because I probably did, no pun intended. This graphic novel is about Basil, and this is in a world where everything revolves around the culinary, and specifically magiculinary. I know, a funny little phrase. This is the second book in this video that I'm reading with food at the center. I did read The Princess and the Grilled Cheese for this video, and it's really funny that we've ended up with two books that revolve around some sort of food. This is more food in general. Sorry if you hear the child. She's in her room, but the monitor is watching her so I can hear her. But this is a lovely little sapphic book with tons of queer representation that's subtle, it's happy, it's positive, and I loved it. This is about our main character Basil, who's going to this prestigious magic culinary school where that's where all the successful people go. They get their education here, and that is how they're successful post-graduation in their businesses as magic culinary chefs. And what's happening here is Basil and her family, her dads, cannot afford to pay for her to go to school. So they have taken out loans for her to go to school, and they are trying to get that money back by Basil winning top student, which will get her a scholarship that will refund all of her student fees. And this is her senior year, so it's her last year. She has to get top student, otherwise her parents are going to be in significant financial debt. And what happens is she's fighting for that first place. She has a group of friends. It's super cute. There's a trans character, there's a non-binary character, and there's obviously a sapphic couple in this book. And then her parents are actually two men, so she has dads. There's a bunch of queer characters. It's absolutely stunning. There's obviously a little bit of a villain, a rivalry, but she ends up making friends with this really famous chef's daughter who goes to the school, and they basically are trying to compete for top student, but the friend does not need the money. She's just naturally gifted and keeps winning all of the challenges for top student and doesn't need any scholarships or anything. So Basil kind of gets some tension there. And there's a twist somewhere in the middle. It's very interesting. There's familiars. It's super fun. And there's just a lot of little slow, cozy moments in here with lessons about things like burnout, getting approval from your parents, things like that. Did not get as much time to read in January as I would have liked, so this did take me a little longer than usual because now I am writing for my day job, editing for my day job, but on a technical sphere. And then my second day job, which is now freelance working on Fiverr, is beta reading, so reading, and editing and writing consulting. So I kind of, by the end of the night, am a little burnt out on reading and have had a little bit of a struggle getting back into reading for pleasure, but we're gonna work on getting a routine together that doesn't burn me out from books. This was excellent. I will put my final rating up here. This was such a joy. Not too many content warnings, which I really enjoyed. It was just overall a really excellent book. If you like books with food and culinary at the center and you like witchy things, kind of like Crumbs, things like that, this is an excellent addition to those genres of food fantasy. Absolutely adored. Would highly recommend. I would even say I probably liked this more than Crumbs personally. I just found the characters to be a little more realistic and easy to follow, and I rooted for them a little bit more. And the magical world was, it was simple, but it felt well thought out, while Crumbs, I liked it. It just felt like it was trying to have a very big conversation in a medium that didn't provide enough to get it across with as much depth. Like, I felt like we only hit the surface on Crumbs, when with this, it's not complex, but it just worked for me personally. And that is the final book for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Part 2 will be coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks. I will let you know over on the YouTube community. Thank you so much for watching. If you want any more reviews for books, check me out on Instagram. I post reels with book reviews. I will also just be posting more videos here this year. It's part of my goal to go freelance. I'm going to be doing YouTube and freelance on Fiverr, so you're gonna be sick of me. Thank you so much for joining. I enjoyed all of these graphic novels pretty much, and I am so excited for the massive stack of graphic novels I have right here. If any of these books interested you, I will put the final ratings up again right here. Here are all the ratings. I would highly recommend checking out these books. Graphic novels need our help. Just because Goodreads has deemed them unimportant doesn't mean that they aren't important. We need to give this medium of art and storytelling the attention and love that it deserves, because these creators work so hard. The art is beautiful and time-consuming. The stories take time. It takes a lot of contribution, and these books are not cheap to publish because they require color and heavier paper, and it's just harder to get published in general because novels are where it's kind of at in the mainstream sphere. Thank you so much. If you read any of these books, please share your thoughts on them in the comments. If you have any suggestions for 2023 graphic novels, also leave those in the comments. Please keep doing your duty, sharing these graphic novels, giving them attention. Again, Goodreads didn't give them the attention they deserved, and there are so many amazing ones that came out in 2023. Share them, use your voice as a reader. That's what we're here for. Reading is political. Let's do our part. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, siblings. Stay safe and stay kind.